Hello, guys. Happy 2024, happy new year, and happy season 4 to us. You might be watching this on YouTube, which I doubt, because again, I am a self-deprecating queen. However, this is my first and only video episode thus far to date. And I just wanted to do something fun, and I'm really nervous. I straightened my hair and got my eyebrows done. Not for today. Well, yes, actually for today, because I was filming this and I was like, oh, I kind of have to look good if it's going to be a video podcast. But then it's basically New Year's Eve. It's the 30th of December right now. And I was having some drinks with my mom, and then the time just disappeared. And I was like, honestly, I look like this. I do look like this. So what's the issue with me looking like this, you know? So that's where we're at right now. But this is going to be a 2023 podcast roundup vibe. I meant pop culture, not podcast. So already off to a great start, as you can see. But I made a few notes on my phone because this year has been a whirlwind. It's been a whirlwind emotionally and mentally, personally, but it's also been a whirlwind in terms of just what's going on online all the time. 2023 for me was crazy because I didn't really do anything. I don't feel like I did anything. I feel really unaccomplished leaving this year. And I feel like that's fine. There are going to be so many years of my life like that. Like realistically, most years of my life are going to feel unaccomplished because I never know what's going to happen next. Like I can't predict that 2024 is going to be the year that I hit all my goals. One, I don't know what my goals are. Two, who knows what could happen? Ever since 2020, I'm done with predicting how good a year is going to be because I was saying this to my mom before I left. 2020 was the year that I was like, my life is going to change. Like, I am going to do big things. I dropped out of uni. Like, the pandemic happened, lockdown happened, and I was still like 2 weeks, 2-week break. Yay! And then 2 weeks became like 6 months, and I was like, oh, this isn't really looking like the year for me. It wasn't really looking like the year for anyone, to be honest. And so I stopped doing that. And so last year I set up my podcast, probably the year before that. I am not a New Year's resolution girl. If I feel like there is a change in my life that I need to make, it's happening the day I decide. So there are a few things from 2023 that I loved, a few things that I didn't love. I will say I'm obsessed with boxing now. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm obsessed with boxing. I go to Jab in Mayfair. I just want to say, if you knew me when I was obsessed with SoulCycle, get ready for round 2, baby, because boxing has taken over my life. I love it. I had taken a class there a couple months ago, and like I've done a few boxing classes before. But I went to Jab and fell in love. And then I took a PT lesson, which I've never done before. That was my first ever personal training. And listen, guys, I train with Finn. If you go to Jab, you have to train with Finn. And he was just like, you're such a natural. I'm in. I am like the target audience for every sort of advert. Like, all you have to do is somewhat be nice. And I'm like, obsessed. So I'm obsessed with boxing. I have been training for a marathon. And whenever I tell people this, they're like, oh my God, you're going to run the London Marathon. No, I'm not going to run the London Marathon. Not anytime soon, at least. Like, I have no intention of running a marathon anytime soon. However, everybody I know is running a marathon. So I'm like, can I do it? I don't like to feel left out of things. So I am training for a marathon. Again, I have absolutely no intention of running one. It's going well. I'm on week 2. And I will say I didn't run today because I can't run when my hair looks like this. Let's be so honest. So I didn't run today. But my running has got a lot better. And I feel like when I go to Barry's now, I'm a pro. So I'm loving the marathon training, something I'm going to take into the next year with me, obviously, because it's an 18-week program. However, I'm not running a marathon. I was considering doing the Malibu half marathon, and then LA traumatized me. So peace out, not doing that. But we shall see. In terms of things I didn't love from 2023, I smoked way too much. Like, we'll keep it so real right now. Like, when I was in California, that's when it was like, go. Like, are you okay? Are you doing good? Because I also wasn't on my antidepressants, which is something we're going to talk about. But I also wasn't on my antidepressants when I was in LA for 2 months. And so it was a tough time for me, if we're going to be so real. My Airbnb got broken into on day one. I had to spend every single penny I fucking saved on hotels. Like, it was just, ugh. And I loved my time there. I loved my solitude. I loved going to the beach. I loved running to the beach. But LA is not an easy city to be in, especially when you already are not too sure of yourself. And what am I sure of? Dispensaries. So yeah, me and the MedMen on Abbot Kinney and Karma in West Hollywood, we've really had a time. And I need to bring that back a bit because new update alert. I've started new antidepressants. I am on citalopram. Is it pram or plam? Who knows? Who cares? I'm on that. And I think it's Effexa. I think that's the non-branded name. And I was on Effexa before, which was venlafaxine, which then made me have all my allergic reactions. So we're seeing how this goes. But as of right now, I am loving it. It's been 2 weeks. You might be thinking, Mary, isn't it so funny that the day you started your antidepressants, you decided to train for a marathon? That is funny. It is funny that sometimes antidepressants motivate you to work, unfortunately, because that is such a sad reality. Like, I'll keep it so real with you. Unfortunately for me, realizing that I wasn't lazy, I was just depressed, didn't do the wonders I thought it would do for me. Because then every time an antidepressant doesn't work, or like I get severely depressed before my period or anything like that, I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the world. And it feels so much worse because you're like, you now know you have the capability to do things and you can't do it, you know? So it's not like it gave me a peace of mind. I'm like, ugh. But yes, training for a marathon when I started new antidepressants doesn't shock me. And I don't need anybody to psychoanalyze me because that's a big thing that people have been doing this year. But saying that, a lot of the psychoanalysis on TikTok.com comes from the fact that many people think I have ADHD. And I've never thought that I had ADHD. Like, I'm going to be so real with you. I never even considered it for a second. And the funniest part of that is that I used to take ADHD medication, non-prescribed, but I used to take ADHD medication to study because I took very essay-based subjects and then I took a law degree and I do not have a good attention span. And I burnt myself out during my A-levels from constant revision. So I was taking ADHD medication and I was like so confused by why everyone else that was taking it was like fine. And well, not fine, but they were just energized. They were like, I could run a marathon right now. I could like do anything. I need coffee and a Red Bull and da-da-da-da. And I was actually like, oh my God, my brain is so quiet for once. So in recent years, obviously with me doing TikTok, people will say like, you have ADHD, you have signs of ADHD, you seem autistic, blah, blah, blah. I got an ADHD test. It's called Diva. She ain't no diva. Yeah, it's called Diva. And I took that test on my flight to New York. So I probably wasn't being as honest as I should have been because I was very aware of the fact that whoever was behind me could see the answers. However, I got a weird voicemail. And I don't respond to voicemails because I'm 25. I am Gen Z. Never fucking leave me a voicemail. I listened to this voicemail because I was just like, okay, it's from a '07 number, which is like a UK phone number, mobile number, sorry. So it's like, it's not a landline, so it's probably not a scam. Like, let me listen to the voicemail. I don't know what this woman was saying. It sounded like she was in a tunnel. However, all I heard was ADHD. And then, call me back. I didn't call her back, obviously. But that's not actually the point. The point is that I got that phone call and I thought, I think it might be illegal to tell somebody via voicemail that they have ADHD. So I'm gonna assume that's not what the phone call or the voicemail was. And that kind of raised my hopes. I was like, okay, still waiting for a diagnosis. Like, the time is coming. Ooh, I got a letter in the post saying, golly, 18-month wait list. 18-month wait list. Mind you, at the beginning of 2023, since we're doing a little roundup, at the beginning of 2023, Rishi Sunak was like, my pledge is to cut waitlist times. 18 months. 18 months for someone to possibly diagnose me. I said it to my mom and I'll say it to you guys. Take me back to the motherland. I cannot be here anymore. But anyway, so I did put forward everyone's advice. I told my doctor what you'd all been saying. And I was like, hey, Becky, hey, girlie. So I know I've never told you my job before and I'm still not going to tell you. But there are like 100,000 people who think I might have ADHD. And so we did the test. I don't know if I have it. I'll tell you in 2 years. But ever since I got that test, I made it very clear that I got that test. Like I put it on my TikTok and my Instagram. I even tweeted about it. I made it so clear that I had that test as a point to be like, stop fucking telling me to take a test. Like, I've taken it all year. All year, you people have been like, you have ADHD, you have ADHD. I've taken the test. That's all I can do. The rest is in the hands of Rishi Sunak. Like, it's not up to me. So that's just another little, roundup on 2023. But I'm going to, probably cry tomorrow and think about the year in a full reflection before I take multiple tequila shots and black out at New Year's. But I think I'm going to cry. Yeah. Because I don't know. It's like, I've had so many people tell me, this has been such a good year for you. You did so many cool things, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like I didn't even live it. Like, I feel like I'm not feeling the way other people are feeling about my life. And I don't know, it's just weird because objectively, cool things happen. Like, I spent 2 months in LA, which, oh my God, if you even told me that the day before I uploaded my first TikTok video, that I would be able to fully fund a solo trip to LA for 2 months by myself, I would have laughed. I would have been like, there's no fucking way I would ever be able to do that. And I did. And it's like, I am seeing that, but I'm still feeling very unfulfilled from this year. And it's been a heavy year. So that makes sense. Objectively, it's been a very heavy year. So I guess, when there are bigger fish to fry, maybe I'm just not too keen on focusing on everything I did well this year, which is great because it's currently trending on TikTok to tell everyone the things you failed at. So I'm probably going to go home and film that video. But yeah, I don't know. It's a new year. I'm just not sentimental or nostalgic about a new year. It's okay. I don't know. It just seems so not real. January 1st happens and then what? So I've kind of already started anything you would call a New Year's resolution. No. Yes. Is training for a marathon you're not going to run a New Year's resolution? Yes. No. Anyway, this podcast episode isn't about me. That sounded like an ad. This podcast is brought to you by... Blah, 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 blah. No free promo here, sorry. I don't want to be rude by going on my phone. However, I do have a list. So, oh my God. Can you see my password? The video podcast is so strange to me because I'm looking at the camera, but there are also 2 other cameras here. So I don't know where to look. It's like an episode of The Office. I might just be like, if you're listening, you can't even see, sorry. That is one thing that does piss me off a lot about podcasts that I listen to because they'll be like, you should go and watch the video. And I'm like, so why are you making a podcast? But I'm going to be very aware of the fact that this is also an audio podcast. This is an audio podcast. This isn't don't expect this from me every week. Sorry. Peace and love. Do not expect this from me every week. But let's get into the 2023 roundup. First of all, I have to give a quick plug to my girlie, Christina. If you are watching the video episode, I am wearing a top that says Blue Lobster Bitch. And it was made by one of my best friends, Christina, and her friend, Louisa. And I'm going to tag them in the show notes because I live in this top now and I look very cool. So here we go. And now into the rest of the podcast. That was my brand read. If anyone wants to sponsor this podcast, that would be so fucking great. But like, also don't worry about it. So I would not be doing a 2023 roundup without talking about Taylor Swift. And unfortunately for a lot of you, you don't like her. There's not much I can do about that, actually. This has been a big, crazy, girly girl year for her. And I think it's interesting because you guys know I'm a big The 1975 fan. And she dated Mr. Matthew Healy. And things went kind of crazy from that point onwards. So we have May of 2020. No, that's not the year we're in. We have May of 2023. And my guy, Matty Healy, is taking a flight to Nashville. Okay, so in that moment, I knew that, like, it was personal. Because why are you going to Nashville? I'm not going to Nashville, so why are you going to Nashville? Anyway, so he flies to Nashville and everyone loses their mind. I am over the moon, overjoyed about the Matty Healy and Taylor Swift dating rumors. I had the most fun online I'd had in months. Like, I was living for it. And I think it's so strange that both fan bases decided to like actively make each other's lives hell when you could have just enjoyed it. You could have just enjoyed the moment, because the Taylor Swift, Matty Healy rumors are not new. Like, this is something that's happened before. And so it being so open and fun and like a fling, it was just cool. Like, it was fun. She had just got out of a fucking God knows how long relationship. And Matty Healy is not an unattractive guy. Like, I don't know. I also think if I was American, yeah, I'd go for Matty Healy. I don't know. He kind of has like a stereotypical British persona. So yeah, I don't know. I was living for it. I thought it was funny. I thought all the tweets were hilarious. I thought everyone was just bringing out their comedy gold when they were dating. And somewhere along the way, it just wasn't existing anymore. And I was like, oh, okay, so that 1975 Taylor Swift collaboration is not happening. You people took that from me. You took that from me. If you don't know, people have been receiving their Target editions of 1989 Taylor's version. And it has the vault tracks, including Slut, featuring the 1975. So my question to the culture would be, why did you ruin that for me? Oh my God. And I've seen so many people talk about the fact that they don't think Matty Healy wrote it and like, there's no way it's real. One, I don't think anyone has a reason to lie about them receiving a Target edition vinyl that has a different credit on it. Like, who just wakes up and lies about that? Point one. Point two is that people were saying that the lyrics don't sound like him. They absolutely sound like him. I feel like some of you are just listening to his most profound work. That man, the range is crazy. So me personally, even someone who's been a fan since like 2015, this man could write anything. I don't know. So that's like one thing that I'm a bit miffed about, a bit upset, a bit hurt, because I'm like, that would have been such a good collaboration. And clearly it existed. But then we went on to Comet is the guy on the Chiefs. Coming straight home to me. Oh, Taylor, you are down bad. You are down bad. I fell to my knees. Yeah, it was bad. I didn't expect her to be so public about it. Like, Comet is the guy on the Chiefs. Bye. Like, Travis Kelce needs to be studied. Like, I think men have manifestation powers that we are not acknowledging, and neither are they. And the only men that I think are tapping into that manifestation power is Travis Kelce and Paul Mescal. Because what do you mean Travis Kelce made a fucking friendship bracelet for Taylor Swift and now Comet is the guy on the Chiefs? Oh, but when I shoot my shot by simply looking at someone, that doesn't work. Yeah, so that doesn't really sit right with me, to be honest. But their relationship has been a whirlwind. It's been shoved down our throats nonstop. And honestly, at first, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. Like, I like that she's being open about this. You know, like, Joe Alwyn did not let her be jeweled. No, I actually have no beef with Joe Alwyn. But I don't know. I just wasn't expecting it to be like such a big deal. And then obviously she kissed him. And then obviously Kama was the guy on the Chiefs. And I was like, coming straight home to me. No, I was just like, wow, like, damn. I don't know. I think the implications of it are a lot bigger than people are talking about. Like, I think it's so cool that we've kind of all grown up with Taylor Swift as the soundtrack to heartbreak and love and blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, she's also unfortunately been labeled as someone who just goes through men and is slutting it up and all this, which is obviously like misogynistic entirely. But for her to then now be in this relationship that we've all watched publicly and her at least look so comfortable and so in love and, you know, just owning it as a woman in her 30s finding love, I'm like, this is quite nice. Like, this is quite a nice thing to watch happen, because even me, like, I'm 25 and, you know, I've never been in a relationship before. However, I do feel like I'm running out of time. I feel like that's the day old, like, misogynist, patriarchal, like, feeding into my brain of being like, you're running out of time. Your body is running out of time. Like, I don't even want kids. And I'm like, oh my God, my womb. But it's just nice to like see her go from having like a fling with Matty Healy to now being in a serious relationship with like a guy who I would have never predicted she would have been dating a sportsman. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still not too sure what sport Travis Kelce plays. However, I would have never assumed that for her. Like, this is so cool. And it just, I think, sends a nice message to women. Why shouldn't we be ending the year on a nice note, you know? But I did say I was going to talk about Paul Mescal. And we do need to talk about Paul Mescal because a lot of you people are forgetting who ran away first. A lot of you guys are forgetting who the blueprint is, okay? A couple months ago, I was in Soho and I made a TikTok video about it. But I was walking through Soho. I went to a SoulCycle class and I saw Paul Mescal. And I looked him dead in the eyes. And I have seen him at events prior. So I shouldn't have been as nervous as I was, but I didn't know who he was when I had been at events with him before. I was just like, oh, that's Phoebe Bridgers' boyfriend. And I didn't really care. And then I watched Normal People and then I watched After Sun and I haven't been at an event with him since. Like the Lord was protecting him, actually. And then I saw him in Soho, looked him dead in the eyes. I went to speak and I ran in the opposite direction. If you've been living under a rock or you were enjoying your Christmas Eve as you should have been, not on twitter.com, you may have missed the fact that everybody, and I mean everybody, was talking about Paul Mescal running away from his dates or hookups when he takes them for a walk in the morning. But I do have to say, I find the Paul Mescal rumors, stories, hookups, whatever, so hilarious because as someone who has made it public information that they love Paul Mescal, and if that said someone has a platform of some sort, they might receive a lot of messages about his life. Unsolicited, unrequested, unprovoked. People send me messages about their experience with Paul Mescal. And so I have a lot of DMs about him. And also I know loads of people who either like have hung out with him or hooked up with it, whatever. And so I hear all these stories, and then obviously I hear the story about him running away from people after, like the morning after. And I had to log off Twitter. Like, I had to log off because people were coming with so many stories, and I like could see the calendar in my head, and they are not lining up with this other girl's story. And so people are just coming out the fucking woodworks like, this happened, my friend did it. Like, everybody in London knows someone or knows someone that knows someone who knows Paul Mescal, has slept with Paul Mescal, has been on a date with Paul Mescal. Like, my guy is getting around. And I'm so in support of it. Because honestly, who wouldn't? Like, if I was Paul Mescal, I had all this fame, I was the heartthrob of the year. Hell yeah, I'm sleeping with everyone. So by all means, like, this is not me judging him at all. You know, I'm Miss Hookup Culture Queen. But I'm living for it. Like, I'm living for people thinking that Twitter is their diary because I think it's so funny because the only other person who I can think of who's an amazing actor, like Oscar level actor, who also has stories about them circulating in that sort of way. Will be so real. I actually paid for this podcast studio. Would love a little sound protection. Anyway, the only person I can think of besides Paul Mescal that is like an amazing actor, Oscar level, and has all these stories about them is Timothée Chalamet. And this is what scares me, because I do believe we are seeing the end of the Timothée Chalamet we once knew and loved. Not me, but I'll say the royal we. Because one, his comment about Tom Holland having Riz, ick, immediate ick. Stop that right now. Second of all, he's NYU Timmy Tim. Like, who doesn't know the stories of NYU Timothée Chalamet? And he kind of made it. Like, he kind of still rose up from that. And Paul Mescal has given me a similar vibe. But I like them both, so it's okay. But talking of Timothée Chalamet, him and Kylie Jenner was not a relationship I saw happening ever. And I've been seeing people's predictions of them having a kid next year. I don't know. I don't know if Kylie Jenner would have a white kid. I don't know if that's a bad thing to say. Like, I don't think she'd have a white kid. I just don't. So I don't think that's going to happen. I also think that, like, Timothée Chalamet, I'm thinking Pauline would step in there and be like, hey girly, let's not. Not because I don't think he'd be a good dad, not because I think that Kylie Jenner's a bad mom. That, like, that's not the mindset here, before anyone tries to take that. I just feel like mentally and emotionally they're at very different stages in their life. Like, she's already a mother of two and he is NYU Timmy Tim, you know? And, like, his career's taking off and, like, it's been taking off for a while, but he's still so young. So I don't really see that happening. But the memes that came out, it's been a good year for memes, if we're going to be honest. And that was definitely another day that I was like, I need to go to sleep. But the more memes I see about Kylie Jenner and Timothée Chalamet, the less sleep I'm going to consume. So, yeah. As I was saying at the beginning of this podcast, I failed at a lot of things this year. And one big thing that I failed at was watching as many movies as I would like, / going to the cinema more frequently, and catching up on TV shows or, like, Emmy-nominated TV shows that I need to watch, and reading. I failed at the reading thing big time, which is really sad, because the only other time I've been in a reading slump like this is when I was doing my law degree, which makes sense if I have to read, pardon me, if I have to read like 10 textbooks a day, I don't want to read a book for fun. And I just haven't really been in a slump like this since then. So that kind of sucks. But I read 26 books this year, and my Goodreads goal was 50. So I did move that to 25. With TV, I haven't been watching a lot of TV. I still haven't watched season 2 of The Bear, and I need to, because I've been watching The Real Housewives, and we're going to talk about it, unfortunately, for a lot of you. I love The Real Housewives. I've said this so much. I was never a reality TV person, and I just, like, I keep saying it because I think that it's not coming across, like, how anti-reality TV I was. Like, I know my life now is kind of reality TV, just, like, not the paycheck. But before I did TikTok, like, I never really used social media as me. Like, I had a fan account, but, like, I didn't really want to post on Instagram. Like, just wasn't really, I just didn't care. And because of that, I didn't follow any celebrities or the Kardashians or anything. So I just never really understood reality TV. And Keeping Up with the Kardashians, like the original one on E! Entertainment, that just didn't do good things for me. So I was against it, literally against it. Not because I think I'm different, not because pick me, choose me, love me, because I literally could not comprehend why I was watching other people's lives go on when I didn't even want to watch my own life go on. Yeah, whoa. This is my issue. Like, I say things and I'm like, that's a normal sentence. And then it comes out and it's just, it's not. But also maybe it's just the weight of the fact that I know that I'm, like, not mentally stable. So, like, it could be a worrying thing. Anyway, reality TV. So I'm big into The Real Housewives, and I started with The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Obsessed. There's only 4 seasons. Oh my God, the season finale is next week. Oh my God. I could cry. Like, it's going to be so good. I started with Real Housewives of Salt Lake City because it was only 3 seasons at the time. And I was on a flight and I was like, fuck it, let's watch it. Everyone I know watches The Real Housewives. I also had an office job at the time and people no, that's a lie. I just got fired from my office job. But everyone at my office job was talking about The Real Housewives. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm on this flight. There's nothing else I want to watch. I'm going to watch The Real Housewives. Obsessed. I got a Hey You subscription immediately. The second I landed in the US, I got a Peacock subscription. I think I'm still paying for that because I can't log on to Peacock from the UK. So I don't know how to cancel my subscription. However, I got a Hey You subscription, a Peacock subscription, a Now TV subscription. It was also around the time that Soap Today stopped working. I was like, I will consume every franchise of this show, even if it's the last thing I do. And I am still going through the franchises. So today, I just got up to date with The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I have 1 episode left until the season 15 reunion. And I like Atlanta. I like The Real Housewives of Atlanta for many reasons. I have watched Atlanta and Potomac, and those are predominantly Black casts. And The Real Housewives in general are very white. And I don't know, it's like fine to watch and be like, oh yeah, like it's not my life, haha, it's just reality TV. But then also it's like, why are we consistently only ever showing white joy, white wealth, blah, 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 blah. So The Real Housewives of Potomac and The Real Housewives of Atlanta, for me, I find more relatable. One, because in The Real Housewives, they show like family dynamics a lot. And so those family dynamics are very representative of the cultures that I grew up in. And so I like that. But I also just think that the cultural differences between like being housewives is so interesting. And I know that The Real Housewives of New York have recently changed their cast, and like I love the new cast, but it's extremely diverse, and that's what makes me love it even more, because I'm like, this is New York. Like, you can't have a reality TV show about New York without the diversity of New York. And so I'm just kind of obsessed with the fact that it's going in the right direction, and I've like picked it up whilst it's in that transition period. But I've watched this season of The Real Housewives of New York, which I love. I love Brynn. She's my favorite New York housewife. And then we have Atlanta. Controversial, but I love Portia. Like, I love Portia. Don't make me call Portia.
Don't make me call Portia.
I love Portia. Like, she's not in Real Housewives anymore, but for the 12 seasons she was there, oof, love, love, love. And I also love Nene. If you have watched The Real Housewives of Atlanta, I need to know your opinions on Marlo, because I really like Marlo. And not like, oh my God, she's my fave or anything. I just think she's real. And her realness is something that I think people don't like. But I respect it because I don't like Kenya as much. And I feel like they both play the same role. They're both villains of the Housewives. But Marlo owns it and Kenya doesn't. And I'd rather you own it. Potomac is... this season is a flop. I'm going to be real with you. If you want to get into The Real Housewives and you want to watch Potomac, you just need to know that this season is a flop. But the other seasons have the tea, they have the gossip, they have the fun. Like, I love Potomac. And I haven't gotten into Beverly Hills that much. I like watch it because it's normally the only one that's available on other platforms. So like I think The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is on Netflix and it's normally on flights. So I'll watch it then. But I'm never really like gagging to see The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills because I know that Lisa Vanderpump leaves, and I also am very aware of the current drama with The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. So, nah. But Vanderpump Rules comes back 30th of January. So this is everybody's homework. Like, on God, this is everybody's homework. If you have not watched Vanderpump Rules, you have to watch it. All 10 seasons. Like, oh my God. Like, reality TV is just, it will never do what Scandival did. Scandival changed me. Scandival is the reason I watched Vanderpump Rules. I listen to Only Friends, which is Carly and Erin's podcast. Carly and Erin of the old Vlog Squad. Old habits die hard. Anyway, I listen to their podcast, and Erin is always talking about Vanderpump Rules, and her husband runs emo night, and the Vanderpump Rules girls always go to emo night. And so that was kind of like planted in my head when I first started listening to that podcast. But then they spent like 5 episodes talking about Scandal. And I was listening to it every single week. And I was like, okay, I need to know what this is. And so life just hasn't really been the same since, unfortunately, for me. I've lost many hours of my life this year to The Real Housewives. I don't even know which other ones I watched. I don't think I watched any other ones, to be fair. But yeah, that's why I haven't watched as much TV as I would like. Because I really do need to watch The Bear season 2. I'm like, what? Where's the time gone? Where has the time gone? I couldn't even tell you. I say that as someone who just caught up with 15 seasons of a reality show. So there's where the time's gone. But I haven't been watching TV like I normally would. So next year I definitely need to prioritize that and reading, because the 25 books is not happening ever again. But we're going to talk about the movies of the year, because in terms of movies, Hollywood, girl, the strike, there's been a lot going on this year. And Barbenheimer was obviously the big like film debut of the year, and unfortunately it was happening whilst the strike was on. I don't think I'll feel happiness like the Barbenheimer double feature day ever again. It was oh my God, wake up 9 a.m. sharp, get to the cinema for 10 a.m., glass of wine in hand at 10 a.m., feet up, popcorn being served. I'm watching Oppenheimer. Leave. I'm immediately like, cinema will never ever reach heights like this again. I go to the pub, I have a beer, I go home, I get changed, I put on a pink blazer, I go to Notting Hill, I go and meet 20 of my girlfriends, and we all sit and watch Barbie. Life might suck right now, but I've had that moment, and that is okay. But I did want to go through my Letterboxd, because I have been ranking the films of this year, in my humble opinion, because every single time that I watch the Academy Awards, I get very confused. I'm like, did we see the same films? Did we get the same shortlist? What's going on here? And so I want to put this one out up front. I want to say what I believe deserves the Oscar, what I believe should be snubbed. Well, it's not really a snub if I believe it's deserved. Anyway, I made a list of my 2023 ranked films. Number 1, no, let's start. Okay, we're going to go through my top 15, and we're going to start with 15 and work our way to the top, because this just got very overwhelming for me. Number 15 is Priscilla. I saw Priscilla 2 days ago. I need everybody to know this before I even continue speaking about this film. I am not Sofia Coppola's biggest fan. I'm not. I've seen her films, and I just left a lot of them feeling like, okay, you made a pretty film. That's it. Priscilla changed me. Jacob Elordi. And the thing is, now that Saltburn is out, now that Priscilla is out, people are doing what they do best and being haters. And they're being like, did you guys not watch The Kissing Booth? How do you just know about Jacob Elordi? I'm never going to watch a film like The Kissing Booth and think, he's hot. I'm never going to do that. Because it's unserious. He was an unserious candidate. And then I got Saltburn. And then I got to see what I was working with, okay? So let's just pause with that narrative. But Jacob Elordi in Priscilla was too much. It was, oh my God. Oh my. Like, Elvis is not a good guy. I was kicking my feet, giggling, blushing, like putting my hand over my mouth to not make noise. Like, oh my God. Stand up, woman. Like, this was ridiculous. But he just did it so well. He had the charisma, the charm. And I was a bit like, because I saw that the reason for his casting was that, like, he walks into a room and takes up space. Yeah, that man is 6'4". Yeah. Most people would take up space if they're 6'4". So it's kind of like, stupid reason to cast someone. No, my bad. That's on me. That is on me for not knowing that this man could eat like that. Sorry, it's been a big Jacob Elordi year. As in, I saw Saltburn last month and Priscilla this month. That's all I mean by that. But coming in at 14 is Saltburn. So Jacob Elordi, you're hot, but I like to cry in the movies, so, whatever. I loved Saltburn. I've seen so many people say so many different things about it, and I think that's really cool. I think that's the point of cinema, to have conversations. And so I love it. I don't know how to talk about that film without spoiling it. I do have to say that I hate the fact that it's on Amazon Prime, because everyone now is watching it, which is fine. But I saw it in cinemas last month. Like, we need to bring back a cinema release not being on demand the next fucking day. Like, it needs to be a wait. That was the joy and fun of going to the cinema, to be like, oh, I went to see this film, and like the only way you're going to watch it is if you go to the cinema too, or we can talk about it in a year when it comes out on Netflix. Why the hell are things coming out in the cinema and on demand in the same fucking month? Stop it. Whoever, I don't know who the cinema people are, but stop it. At number 13 is, I don't even know what this film is called, The Hunger Games. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So I did actually discover that I haven't watched all of The Hunger Games, unfortunately. I thought there was one. There aren't. So I did go into that film thinking I had all the backstory. It made no fucking sense to me. It was a great film, though. And that alone is why I gave it such a high rating. I've watched 97 films this year. Not all of them are from this year, but from the ones I have watched this year, there are 42. Oh no, from the ones that came out this year, there are 42. And The Hunger Games came 13th. So I feel like that kind of speaks volumes. Yeah, I don't really know what was going on, to be fair. But I liked it, and that's all that matters. Then we have Air. I cried at Air. I never really thought of Ben Affleck as a guy that I would want to see direct a film, or like someone I'm seeking out media from. If I ever see another film is directed by Ben Affleck, I will be seated on opening day. Like, the Air was so good. Air was so good. And I really respect films that can make a mundane thing enticing and emotional, because the reality of it is like, okay, we're talking about the creation of the Nike Air Jordans. Like, face value, that doesn't sound so fun. However, this film had me bawling my eyes out in the cinema. So I had to put that at least in my top 15. So that was 12. Then we have Maestro at 11. I went to see this at the IMAX. It was my first time at the IMAX. I went to see this at the IMAX. Tell me why Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan were there. I never felt any kind of way about either of those people before. I've seen Carey Mulligan in like Promising Young Woman and probably something else. And Bradley Cooper, okay, A Star Is Born. Like, I just was like, okay, fine. Like, they're great actors. I have a crush on both of them. Anyway. The next one at number 10 is Spider-Man. This was just objectively an amazing film. I don't know what else to tell you. Like, it was fantastic. I laughed, I cried. I thought that the graphic design is it graphic design? Animation? I don't know. I can't draw. But the design of the film was spectacular. I've never seen anything like it. Like, it was insane. So, yeah, if that doesn't get an award of some sort, I'm going to be kind of bummed. But I think it will. And then we have Asteroid City. Again, another director where I'm like, it's like Sofia Coppola. I feel like Wes Anderson and Sofia Coppola literally make pretty films, but they don't always hit with me, and that's so fine that I'm just not their target audience. Asteroid City is my favorite Wes Anderson film. I thought it was so good. Like, I did smoke a J before I went. That may affect the rating. However, if a film makes sense and is good whilst I'm under the influence, smash, immediate smash. Thank you so much. So at number 8, we have Rye Lane. It feels like I watched this forever ago. But every time I go and check my 2023 films ranked, I never move Rye Lane from the top 10. even though I feel like sometimes I'm prone to like giving something a higher rating if I'm ranking it at the time of seeing the movie rather than like letting a few days go past. Even years from now, I will be able to remember that Rye Lane was one of the best films that I saw in 2023. Black love, black joy, spread it. Thank you. At number 7, we have Theatre Camp because I'm a theatre girly. I will always be a musical theatre girly until I die, unfortunately. And Theatre Camp, to me, was just a film saying, it's okay that you might have been a little weird. You're a theatre kid, and that's fine. And I loved it. Number 6, I might have to change this. And like, girls and gays, don't come for me. But I put Bottoms at number 6 because it's not like an amazing film. It's fun, and I love fun cinema. And so that's why I put it at number 6. But then I'm like, is that enough? No, I think that should be enough. That should be enough. Yes. I watched it actually at the AMC that Taylor Swift had the Eras Tour film. Number 5 is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. And I really do tell everyone to watch this film if they want to understand me. And mind you, I only watched this film 2 months ago. No, in September. I watched, a few months ago. This film is my life. It's my entire life, okay? I grew up going to church. I've had my baptism, my first Holy Communion. I went to a convent school. I genuinely believe I experienced religious mania from the ages of 14 to 17. Religion is just so in my life. And I've just always had this complicated relationship of being like, oh, I don't know if I believe in it. I'm like, oh my God, am I just being forced to believe in it? Do I regret being baptized? Do I wish that I could have made my own decision? Like, I deal with the crisis of faith a lot. And Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret is, oh my God, it was like a hug. It was literally like a hug. Like, I just loved it so much. It's essentially a film about a kid being a kid. But it answers so many questions that I feel like I still have as an adult. And I still ask myself those questions that I was asking myself when I was 10 years old, you know? And that film captured it so well. And also beyond the religious aspect, like, I know what it's like to have grandparents that don't know that you exist and don't want to know you. So that's also an aspect of the film. But she got her happy ending. I still haven't met my grandmother, so whatever. And then, of course, we have Barbie. Barbie's at number 4. I feel like people might be mad. Barbie is one of those films, I watched it and I thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen. And then I watched other films and I was like, it was just the moment. Barbie is a great film. I love Greta Gerwig. I love Barbie as this, like, you know, modern take on the beauty standards that we've had ingrained into us our entire lives. Like, I absolutely love and stand by everything that Barbie was as a movie. This just wasn't the year that it should have come out. Like, this just was not the year that Barbie should have come out. I'm thinking maybe next year. Like, because, oh my God, even like last year, I probably would have put Barbie as my number 1 film. This year, I just couldn't. I couldn't. There were too many good ones, like even better ones. I'm sorry. And I'm a Greta girl. Like, Greta Gerwig before anybody. But this year was too good, unfortunately, for films. So at number 3, we have Killers of the Flower Moon. Lily Gladstone, get your fucking Oscar. Like, it's going to be... Oh, my God. If she doesn't get an Oscar... Like, is she even nominated? Actually, I'll check that later. I know Killers of the Flower Moon is nominated for Best Picture. And, like, I don't think it will win that. I want Oppenheimer to win that. But Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon... Like, I've been to drama school and I didn't even know you could act like that. Like, oh my, yeah. The Lord said, Mary, you go watch this film and you find out what real acting is before you even consider applying for acting school. And I said, heard. At number 2, we have Oppenheimer, which I know I've just, you know, gone on about how good Oppenheimer was in comparison to every other film that came out this year. There was one film that beat Oppenheimer for me. And that was Past Lives. Oh, I put it in my top 4 on Letterboxd immediately. Will I ever watch that film again? No. I will never watch Past Lives again. No, sorry. I actually like being mentally stable, contrary to popular belief. If I watch Past Lives again, I will hit breaking point. I'm actually surprised that I didn't simply just die in the cinema when I saw it. It is the most beautiful, complex, gorgeous, just everything I have ever needed from a film, I got from Past Lives. Hello? God bless. But yeah, on that note, we're going to end the podcast here because I'm going to Winter Wonderland. But yeah, I'm going to Winter Wonderland and tomorrow is New Year's Eve. And honestly, I kind of just wanted to film this before the new year because I know that come January 1st, I'm going to be like, I'm a girl boss. I can do anything I want. I'm literally going to change my life. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to throw out my entire wardrobe. I'm going to book 7 flights. And then January 2nd, I'm like, oh my God, I fucking hate myself. So I thought, let me just get this done in this year because it will be real. It'll be authentic. It will be exactly how I'm feeling. There'll be no weird shit about it's a new year. Try and be positive. I'm a miserable bitch at the end of the day. So we're keeping it real as we always do. And 2023, for me, like business-wise, I guess we'd call this, unfortunately, business-wise, has been amazing. And I have been given opportunities that I still feel like I can't even dream about because why me, you know? So thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you have done for me this year. And I mean you, like this isn't the royal you, I mean you. Like this is, I feel like somewhat something I've always wanted to do without ever accepting it. And here we are going into our 4th season, another year of me being an absolute idiot on the internet who is just trying to figure out life. So thank you so much for everything, but especially listening to this podcast or watching it if you watch the video version, which is on YouTube. Yeah, thank you for everything. And I hope that 2024 is okay. I don't wish that it's amazing. I don't wish that it's bad. I hope that you can get up each morning and know that better things are coming. You might not know when, but they're coming. Love you.